I've been making a lot of JJK content lately, and I'm not even mad about that. Every week there's something even crazier to talk about, from Sukuna's final form to Kashima's curse technique, and now, spoilers for chapter 238, our main man Yuji is finally back. And I can't show the leaks on this video, but he looks like he's about to absolutely fuck Sukuna up. And I think I know how he's gonna go down. Warning, every prediction I've made on the channel has been wrong, but I think I got something here, because we're about to see our new favorite duo in all of Jujutsu Kaisen, Hiromi Higuruma and Yuji Itadori, Law and Order. That's right, Higuruma, one of the smartest characters in the whole series, is right alongside Yuji, ready to pounce on Sukuna. To understand their game plan, we have to talk about Higuruma's domain expansion, Deadly Sentencing. This domain is very different from the ones we've seen throughout the series. Instead of having a sure hit effect like Gojo's or Sukuna's, Deadly Sentencing just enforces a rule to those inside. Higuruma's background as a lawyer really shows through in this domain, as it takes the form of a trial. As soon as the domain is active, neither the caster nor the victim can cause any harm to each other. Then this Shikigami thing called Judgment gives a statement that the person on trial, the one who's trapped in the domain, has to make a case for and be proven innocent. The real power comes from when Judgment rules the person guilty, because it results in some insane consequences. It's implied that there are many different penalties, but we've only seen two so far: confiscation and execution of sword. Confiscation is a supplementary punishment that can be added with another, but by itself, it temporarily disables the person's curse technique. It can be modified depending on the person's abilities, as it disables Yuji's curse energy as a whole, due to him not having an innate technique. And execution of sword is the highest form of punishment, as it is accompanied with the death penalty, and with one slash causes death with no exception. So, the plan seems to be use Deadly Sentencing to disable Sukuna's curse technique, so no dimensional slashing and all that stuff, and beat him there. However, there are three main problems with that. 1. Sukuna's final form revival was basically a full heal, meaning it is highly possible and likely that he has his domain back. And we saw how powerful and versatile Malevolent Shrine is against Gojo, who was extremely skilled. This is an assumption, but since Deadly Sentencing prohibits any sort of violence, Sukuna's slice and dice domain may be impossible to open while inside. If it was a non-lethal domain like Hikari's, since all that does is put information in the person's head, then that could bypass the violence rule. Maybe. Second, the statements Judgment gives are random, and Higuruma himself doesn't seem to have control over that aspect of it. As Judgment first asked Yuji about going to a casino, then switching over to killing people in Shibuya. So yeah, big difference. It might be possible Sukuna doesn't even get asked about eating people or murder or anything like that, and he's able to be proven innocent, shutting down the whole thing. Tied to that, the evidence Higuruma gets is not automatically a game changer, as it is only one single piece of evidence. Bringing it back to the casino with Yuji, it only showed him getting money from an ATM, not even the casino itself. And I wouldn't think they would bring Higuruma just for the plan to fail, but look at what they did to Kashimo. He was seemingly killed off the chapter after his long-awaited curse technique was revealed, so I'm not that sure. The third problem is that after Judgment gives the verdict, it becomes a normal area where both Higuruma and the victim can fight normally, with the punishment applied, of course. And just because Sukuna loses his curse technique does not mean he won't rock the lawyer with his basic curse energy reinforcement and martial arts skill. Which is where our left-right goodnight boy comes into play. Yuji is going to be included in Higuruma's domain. If this is a trial, we need to call Yuji for jury duty. And this will give every single Yuji needs a boxing ring domain fan a win. And when Sukuna's curse technique is disabled, Yuji is going to shine and fight Sukuna by himself. And we know how capable he is against four-armed curses. But we all know Gege Akutami by now, and this is not how Sukuna goes down. It is how Yuji shows off his next power-up. Imagine Higuruma and Yuji double teaming the King of Curses with pure hands and the execution of sword. Every time Yuji lands a hit, there's a cut on Sukuna, until we finally see Itadori using Cleave and Dismantle. It would be crazy to see what Yuji has in store, because we definitely don't know what he's cooking. But there is something I found strange. In the chapter, it showed Hikari and Yorome coming out of the domain, right before we see Yuji. It makes me think that these two are going to be included in Deadly Sentencing. It wouldn't make much sense to exclude Urame because they can just attack the domain from the outside, and most barriers are weaker to exterior attacks. So I might need to change my initial idea on tag teaming Sukuna, but instead Hikari and Higuruma fight Urame, while Yuji has Sukuna all to himself. What's more interesting is the fact that Yuji has been learning from geniuses throughout all of JJK. Like, think of it, Gojo taught Itadori the basics of cursed energy and control, while Sukuna taught, well, through example, of how to use cleave and dismantle and just the creative ways of using cursed technique. Then there's Kusakabe, who is one of the most knowledgeable characters in the whole series, who seemed to be training Yuji, and knowing Kusakabe's abilities, it probably involves a new Shao style and simple domains. And finally we have Higuruma, the man who taught himself how to use a domain expansion without any practice. It took the lawyer only 12 days to reach the strength of a first grade sorcerer. Who better to teach a Yuji with newly acquired Sukuna abilities about opening his domain? It just makes too much sense, I say before being completely wrong. But what do you guys think? Is this fight what we've all been waiting for? And remember, Kenjaku is still alive and hiding somewhere, so who knows what he's planning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Alright, peace.